10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
CompetitionPlus.com, the place where you can believe what you can read on the internet, right there. Drag racing news updated sometimes by the second, the minute, hourly, even breaking news. We'll bring Bobby Bennett on just to talk about that in a few moments. My co-host, he'll be sliding in, Slam and Sam, in a few moments. The Power Hour is live. Got a great show lined up for you. Let me very quickly, before we test out Slam and Sam's connection being mobile tonight, bring on Bobby Bennett, or Bobby Schwarzenegger. Bobby, how's it going?
I want my daddy's records. No, I feel like I'm on a Sanford and Son episode with the Blind Melly Jelly with those things on.
Oh, wow. I'll have to go in the archives and find those episodes. I have no clue what
Oh,
you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. Classic. Any of us old codgers that yell, "Get off my lawn," will know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, great show you got coming up tonight. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Wow, they finally invited me to my own party.
Yes. Well, look, there was breaking news just posted on CompetitionPlus.com, so share with us real quickly what is happening in the world of drag racing.
Well, it's one of those things it's very serious. Could have been very badly. Apparently, Jock, Steve Johnson's crew chief, accidentally shot himself in the leg, and he's mending, from what we understand. Okay, this was via a post on Steve Johnson's social media. So, with all the misfortunes that we've had out here lately, I mean, if there has to be a silver lining in this, it's that he's okay and appears to be on the road to making a full recovery. I mean, it's not a funny moment. I tell you what, I have quite a few number of guns, and I never want them to turn on me.
Well, glad that Jock will be on the mend. Definitely does make you wonder any implications for Steve in a championship hunt. Will he have his crew chief at the very next race? Those type things.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we have a weekend off this weekend. Then we go to the week-long deal in Dallas, the Stampede of Speed. And apparently Steve has a plan B in place. Not exactly what you would want. I mean, because Jock has already been through a whole lot already, being a COVID survivor, and it's just a tough, just bad luck, man. Just bad luck.
Definitely. Yes, the Stampede of Speed. I'm looking forward to it. I plan on being there just about all week. Racing happening every night. And when there's not racing happening on those nights, there's like concerts and beer and barbecue. You can't go wrong with anything like that going into the Fall Nationals.
Well, I beg to add to the Eric Medlin great quote, "You can never have a bad day when you're eating ice cream." I think that should be amended to include beer and barbecue.
Right. Definitely included. Well, look, speaking of including, let's include the co-host here, Slam and Sam.
Hey!
He's mobile. What's going on,
up,
Sam?
What's up? Can you guys hear me first and foremost?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right.
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
I got the two shaded brothers on the show tonight. Hey, Lee, thank you for being like a great co-host. Currently sitting in the healthcare clinic as my dad's inside. I think he's just got a sinus infection because he's up in North Dakota for the first time, and everybody's farming. But hey, I'm no doctor, so rather be safe than sorry. But man, what a show tonight. Hopefully here soon. I'm going to be back into the office, so that's why Slam and Sam's in the pickup right now. Lee, a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. I mean, I'm going to make a very, very bold prediction and statement on the show tonight about what I saw last weekend. I think the race in St. Louis was great. Just a lot to talk about. I think we're seeing a topic that I know we need to talk about is Mike Salinas. I think right now we are seeing what him and I talked about in Brainerd. They've been testing, and what they have been testing is showing right now. A lot of people may say, well, it's about time. Lee, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think it's everything that's going on with him has been planned. They've been working on it, and now they're implementing it right now. And I don't think we're going to see a slowdown from that team.
I think what Mike pulled off during Friday's qualifying, I mean, if it were baseball, to say that was an upper deck shot would seem so inadequate. I mean, when you throw 500s on your nearest competitor and just like, I meant to do that, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's playoff ball. I mean, it's playoff drag racing. It's the time. You don't have time to, hey, I'm going to slowly implement these things. You have tested. That's what all this racing in the earlier part of the year has done. And, even with weather like we had in St. Louis, where it wasn't too hot right away, I wouldn't say wasn't too cold, but I think they had a chance Friday to throw it at the board. And I think we actually all saw across the board that all these teams are like, hey, you know what? Here's our chance. Let's use a few things that we've tried. And I mean, that's how you come up on number one. And then it just proves, through and through what he did wasn't just a number one qualifier on Friday night, and then come through the weekend as a number one. But look at round to round. I mean, look at what he did. I mean, I don't think him or Steve Torrance had an easy route to the final, but I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do when it's time. And here's my bold prediction, and you guys can take it or leave it. In the three classes with Erica, Hagan, and Torrance standing on that stage, that right there, you're looking at your champions. That right there was a prediction of your champions for the year. That's my big statement.
You really went out on a limb there, didn't you? He really went out on a limb there, didn't he? a real little limb there. Way to go there.
No, because look at Pro Stock. I mean, honestly, let's look at Pro Stock. If you want to dive into it, look at Pro Stock, honestly, and look at the funny car class. You can't, those two classes right now, you can have a different winner at any point. Those right now are the two competitive classes that we have. And is that wrong?
No. Erica has so much momentum in her corner right now. It's just unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. The momentum comes and goes in this class. I mean, it's like, kill the man with the ball kind of stuff. When I was a kid, please tell me you guys did that when you were little. Threw the ball out there and whoever got the ball got tackled, right? Okay.
Yes, Dan. Like I gotta go both ways. I'm sitting here. I have to click on buttons and look at the comments and pull those up since I'm not used to being on the phone. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but in good news, I guess, or I don't know. I see a red sweatshirt. My dad's coming out of here so I can get the heck out of this parking lot because I look like a retard standing here with lights on everywhere, looking at me. Lee, you're quiet. I don't know. What do you think? How do you feel? You got to say something, man. I don't like when you get quiet.
Well, as you all have been yapping over the great sport of drag racing, I decided to take a look at the results, detailed results, which, by the way, you can see on NHRA.com of this past week's event. Because William mentions this, he has to run that fast to compensate for his poor lights. And I would say, for the most part this year, that might very well be true concerning Mike Salinas, but that was not true Sunday eliminations at the Midwest Nationals. His worst light was a 069, and they continually got better throughout the day with having a 011 light in the finals. He
Somebody
drove
just
well.
snatched Sam. We just lost Sam.
Yeah, we'll have him back. We'll have him back later. Trip home. But yeah, he drove well. The car was fast and he drove well. Everything came together Sunday. We've been waiting for it. Apparently they've been testing maybe. Here it is.
And too, I do believe Mike Salinas has something to prove here. I mean, he has been the butt of everybody's not controversy, but the rumor mill has not been easy on him here this year. Alan Johnson's leaving. He's leaving Top Fuel. He's going pro mod. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's just like, I'm just going to race, okay? I'll do what I'm going to do, but I'm going to race. If Alan goes, he goes. He doesn't want him to go, but if he goes, you can't stop a man from leaving. I mean, really.
Right. I talked with Mike a little bit at ZMAX Monday with testing, and the biggest thing that I got from him is he wants to make sure he has fun. And I don't blame the man.
Yeah.
Whether it's pro mod or he talked about possibly hopping in the Cummings A Fueler and doing a grudge race or something with his daughter in A Fuel, figuring that out. He just wants to have fun, I think, at the end of the day with racing. Win and have fun.
Winning for Mike is the icing on the cake. I mean, he already, if you just look at the gentleman's life story, getting to where he's at was such an overwhelming accomplishment already. And then for him to be able to race with his daughters, for him to be racing with the great Alan Johnson, to be able to win a national event, not necessarily in that order, qualify number one and win an event. I mean, the guy, to talk to Mike, who is one of the most personable people in the pits. Yes. I mean, he's already playing with house money. He's gambling with house money. He can't lose any way he goes.
Right. I will also want to say, because it seems like, man, it was just a year ago, but people seem not to remember that and not be thankful that I'm just glad we had a good drag race. Like, there was really, in my opinion, no drama in this national event. It was like high speeds, quick ETs, and great storylines all over. There were no major crashes except for JR Carr. I don't know what happened. Do you know what happened with JR Carr? I have not.
No, it just looked like it got over into the wall there. And he just looked like he got a St. Louis stripe down the side.
Okay. So again, nothing major. No rollovers, no chassis breaks, no body panels falling off, no top dragster hitting the wall. We had a good drag race.
Yeah, and we've had some bad times at St. Louis before.
Right.
But, it was a good race. Not any real timing issues that I saw, like we saw, or electronics issues at Charlotte. But, gosh, look at the volume of cars that go up and down this racetrack that we have zero problems. And, of course, we have one problem. And here we go, circling the drain. Terrible. It's a rough thing. It's you know what? I can't be. I mean, I'm kind of old. I mean, I ain't that old. I ain't that young either. But my gosh, if the measure of being old is being grumpy and not seeing just how good drag racing is today, well, then I guess I'm just a freaking spring chicken today.
Look, the drag racing, I thought Sunday, the race itself, that it was great. It was great. It was a great event, and definitely, I think. Look, there was some timing issues, or someone has said something, or someone felt disrespect. Whatever, it all goes into it, and the narrative is on the rise for NHRA drag racing. And
I can tell you, we are in a better place coming out of the pandemic than we were going into it.
Definitely. I completely agree. Well, man, let's put a plug in for Competition Plus apparel and get Jeff Arend on right after that.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
It's not a show if we don't have Jeff Arend on. Jeff, good to have you on.
Thanks, buddy. Nice job getting Bobby off right at the 15-minute thing there for a minute.
Yeah,
It was close.
Yeah. I want my daddy's records.
That's right.
You know what that means, right?
So, yeah, the St. Louis race, I mean, great race. Lots of people there. Some awful quick runs. You know, Brittany 64, Hagen 86. You know, funny car, there was like 3 or 5 389s in qualifying. That's how the deal's going on there.
Dude, my boy, Bobby Bodie.
Hey, I was going to say that. You got Robert who runs 389. He's number 7. You know, you got Blake, Cruz, Tasca, and definitely the run of the year, I think, is Bobby Bodie ripping off a 389. He had some early numbers in a few late races he was at lately that could have done that if it would have made it, and maybe quicker. But it was nice to see the team get it all together and him make that spectacular run. And even went around on race day, so that's pretty cool.
Hey, Jeff, you remember when Wilkerson was kind of chastising Bobby Bodie at the other race? He's like, I'm turning these knobs, and this thing's flying. I'm turning them. He said, whoa, you better back off of those knobs. I think he turned the knob. Is he really turning the knobs?
Bobby is, yeah. Bobby the kid, Bobby Jr., he's definitely tuning it. And Dell and I were laughing about it. Dell goes, it's like a big video game to him. He just goes to the flows, and these guys are turning the flows like 10, so like an eighth of a turn. Well, he just turns the thing a whole turn and another one a whole turn, and whatever they're doing, it's working pretty cool right now. So great to see. And I mean, if you've known Bob and Bobby, I've known them for a long time. Bobby actually goes to school with my daughter at ASU. So great people, great family, known them for a long time. And just the look of them on the TV when I saw them run the 89, like, they're ecstatic, and they should be.
Right, to be young and ballsy.
Yeah, right. And it's cool too, because I've done some videos with Bobby, but like at Indy, he had to pedal it in round 1 against Wilkerson, and it's very interesting. Like if I ask you about pedaling, you've done it so many times. It's just that's just pedaling. But he was like, yeah, I got to pedal the car.
And I'll tell you, if there's one thing about driving a funny car that's hard, and no matter how many runs you make, you learn almost every time you pedal it. There's different ways to pedal it at different spots on the track. And it's not like you really get to test, doing it, because in qualifying, unless it's the last qualifier in the bump city and you have a chance of getting in to pedal it, you're just not going to do it because you have a chance of blowing it up whenever you pedal it. So it's definitely something that it's very hard to learn, and you can make lots and lots and lots of runs and still learn and get better at it. So, that's definitely one of the toughest aspects of driving a funny car, or probably a top fuel car as well. So, I was laughing at Sam. He has his predictions, right? He picks all the ones that are in the lead, of course. So I was going to talk about that a little bit. So, top fuel, you got Torrance. He's a couple of rounds ahead of Brittany. The next closest one is probably 80 or 100 points back. So, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say it's going to come down to those two unless something crazy happens. As we know, I think you get down to Pomona at the end. I think it's 1.5 points again, so that could do something. But top fuel, it's the top 2 or 3, I think. In funny car, a little bit different story. Hagen does have a 3-round lead over Caps, which is a fair amount with 4 races left. But you got Forrest, Cruz less than 100 points away. You got JR, you got Tasca, they're close behind. With the points the way it's going, that's going to be a hard class to pick. That's for sure. I wouldn't bet on anybody. I mean, Hagen obviously has one of the best cars out there, and he's one of the best drivers out there. So they're going to have to stumble a little bit or get taken out early, and, who knows what could happen after that.
Hey, a 3-round lead, that's probably the largest points lead anybody's had since, Topeka?
Yeah, it's been a while since someone had a full 3-round point lead on somebody. So that's pretty crazy. That's a pretty good lead. But, I mean, in the past, you've seen people with more of a lead than that, I think, going years back, but certainly not insurmountable. And then, like I said, with the 1.5 points to Pomona, if they're still pretty close, you just get picked off in round 1 or have a problem, there's some people going around you. As Matt knew, he was winning, leading the points going into the countdown. And when he missed that one race, he went from first to like fifth, I think, right? So that was a big drop just from missing one race. So if you get picked off early, you're going to have a big points deal again.
Yeah, it's been fascinating. I knew it would be competitive this year in Funny Car with all the shifting that happened, and Beckman's team becoming Cap's team and Cruz and all the parts and pieces that got moved around and shuffled in Nitro. You knew it was going to be competitive, but man, what a show we're getting. I mean, Tasca's like the only back-to-back points leader I think we've had all year or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and like if you watched him on Sunday at St. Louis, he really didn't run all that well. He just got lucky 2 or 3 times. I mean, relatively lucky, but he wasn't like going 389 with a 50 light and winning. So he got a little lucky to get there, but you have to be there to earn your luck. That's what I always tell people. And if you're not there, you don't have the reputation of being a good lever or having a fast car, well, then, when no one's really worried about you. So, it's good to get a little bit of breaks here and there. And he's definitely doing really well this year. He's up there pretty high in the points deal. So, again, like Funny Car, I would have to think, besides Pro Stock, probably one of the toughest classes, especially the first 10 cars to go to these races or 11 cars. There's really no, kind of leaker cars there. There's, obviously 7 cars that ran in the 380s at the last race. So, and there's still some other guys that didn't run as well. So, it's a tough class, no doubt about that. So, next we got Dallas coming up. So full fields there again, so much for the NHRA going in the toilet. So you got 18 top fuels and 17 funny cars there. You got their Stampede of Speed, which is like, if people haven't looked at it, it's like a whole week of racing. I mean, Monday they got Nitro Pro mods and bikes and top fuel Harleys, all kinds of cool stuff. They got a pro mod race. They got open test session on Wednesday for the pros, which you usually can never have because there used to be like you can't test at the same track you're racing at 2 weeks before. So you're going to see lots of pro cars testing on Wednesday, I'm sure. And then 4 qualifiers, back to 4 qualifiers, full payout, $15,000 bonus for low qualifier and top fuel and funny car on Friday night. So, I mean, Billy Meyer, the people there in Texas he's working with, this would be a spectacular race. And hint, hint, I get to race there. So that's going to be fun.
So I really, really don't see the Wednesday test sessions before a national event being a bad thing. In fact, I think the NHRA could use it to its advantage as possible another revenue stream. What do you think about that, Jeff? Plus, it makes racing better for the whole week, right?
I mean, it certainly can. But then when you start getting in the Wednesday deal, all the NHRA guys have to be there earlier, which, they're all people like we are. The team has to be there to set up on the Monday or the Tuesday to get ready. So, and then you're not doing anything on Thursday, and then you start racing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday again. So that's kind of I think it's cool, but I think it's totally against, what everybody's trying to do by making the sport a little bit cheaper. Obviously, the small teams generally don't test on the Wednesdays. So you have the big teams there anyway, which obviously have a better budget. But if a smaller team want to test, I mean, now they're having hotel rooms for, 5 or 6 nights instead of 3, rental cars for longer. It's just, and most of the smaller teams, a lot of people there are just part-time guys. They're not full-time guys. They have normal jobs. So it's probably, in my opinion, put a bigger discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots by allowing another test session. Am I happy they're having it in Dallas? For sure. But we'd like to see it more often. Probably not a bad idea, but all the people that really want to test generally test on the Monday after the event before. With the 3 qualifier deal, like you said, Bobby, people would get used to the air and the track there maybe a little better, and the show might be a little bit better on the Friday night or the Saturday. On the Monday, but again, it's money. So
long live the Monday morning nationals.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Well, look, the Stampede of Speed is going to be a great event. Looking forward to seeing you back behind the wheel, Jeff. And what a great race we just did have at the Midwest Nationals. Well, Jeff, look, if you don't have anything else, we're going to let you go, man, and we will take a break and come right back.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great show. We'll talk to you later on.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
All right. Well, Bobby, look, since we're waiting on Slammin' Sam to get back in with him traversing from medical area back to the basement office where he does the show from there in the great land of North Dakota. He might got lost for all I know. There's not much out there. Look, we've talked about it a little bit. You've been a fan, a follower, a media personality over the sport of drag racing for decades now. Has there ever been another time where you remember Funny Car as competitive as it is with so many others? I mean, I can think about competitiveness like between Oswald and Bernstein or Cruz and Force, but we're looking at like still 8 drivers with a legitimate shot.
Yeah, I think we're in uncharted waters. Now, Top Fuel back in the day, yeah. I can think back to the 1980 season. I think we had as many as 5 or 6 drivers with a chance to win going into the Ontario, rest in peace, the Ontario Motor Speedway, and Shirley Muldowney came out on the winning end of that one. But there he is. But anyway,
What's up, guys?
There were as many, I believe, as 6 Top Fuel drivers that had a chance to win a championship in 1980, and the great Shirley Muldowney won it. But I cannot remember off the top of my head a Funny Car, but season where so many drivers were right in it. I mean, just like one of the drivers said, this is a year. Robert Hite said it, that we really didn't even need a countdown. We've got our own countdown going on.
Right. I feel like I'm watching the WWE Battle Royale, and like you got to throw them over the top rope, and they got to hit with both their feet on the outside of the ring, and you got people just barely hanging on, but they haven't been eliminated, and you got others, beating up on each other inside the ring, ready to throw each other out. It has been a wild year in NHRA Funny Car, and it has been phenomenal to see what we have got so far. And man, I believe Pomona's going to be wild. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's been like a Scotty Cannon Christmas party. Yeah, we always said we went to a fight and a Christmas party broke out.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, it's a season that and you. The hell with trying to pick whoever's going to win. I mean, when you got Funny Cars going 330 miles an hour, and it's one of those things that I found myself this year. This year, I have kind of, I never really lost my love for drag racing, but when you're on the road like 7 weekends in a row, and you're not even halfway into March, it just kind of wears on you, and you get worn down and everything. And just like some competitors in the countdown, I'm finding my groove at the right time.
See, Bobby, that's why you got to send us young folks. Instead of you going, you send the young guys to go and do all the run. You heard that old joke, right, about the cows?
Yeah, I know that. I wrote it.
See,
I wrote it.
I wrote it.
Right now, you're that old bull.
No, let me tell you something, Calf. Grasshopper, whatever. I'm going to tell you what, you just don't know. There's a lot more to it than profiling.
Hey,
got to go get the interviews, got to write the articles, got to do it all. But
hey,
one day we'll bring you guys try that.
Along with that profiling, they're styling. I know that.
And profiling.
And that's what Lee and I got. We got the style, at least, I think. I don't know. Who knows? Hey, I kind of cut off there for a while, but did you guys talk about Texas?
Yes.
Already? Okay.
Yes.
Can I throw my 2 cents in? Sorry, everybody, I'm late to the party. But
yeah, throw your
hey,
2 cents in. We're getting down on time. We need to bring Mr. Tasca on.
you're true. Hey, this is what I think about the Texas thing. They're pretty much saying this is how drag racing should be. This is how drag racing is now going to go. And if you don't like it, we're going to do what we're going to do. And there's nothing you can do about it. We're back. We're going to throw a party. Let's celebrate. Let's have fun. Let's give the fans of racing, of our community, and they're just showing them like, hey, this is the way to do it. And to you new fans that want to, speculate on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Mondays and Tuesdays of what drag racing really is, how about you come out? Because we've got something every day for you. If you like music, got you covered. If you, like you guys talked about, beer and barbecue, those two things go together like swimwear and a swimming pool. I mean, sun's out, guns out, baby. Let's party. Period. Sorry, Bobby. I know we're taking your.
Out there, I shudder to compare with barbecue and beer. That's got E. coli written all over it right there, bud.
Hey, but look at it. What are they not? What is Texas not doing at this point? That's like, okay, what's next? I mean, they have I think it's scheduled to have a country music concert out there. So I'm expecting to see, bull riding.
The key in all of this is that the local government's involved in it.
Yes.
That's huge.
A big key deal right there. And for years, we watched as the local governments were involved in Australian drag races. Well, now it's good because look at what all a drag race brings in. When teams come in, they buy hotel rooms, they eat in restaurants, they fly into the airports, they buy rental cars, and it really does a number for the economy. And the more involved that a local government can get in the racing, just like Lee had on last week, the Cabarrus County hat. I don't know where you come with this Carrabba's or whatever. That's a restaurant, isn't it? But it's Cabarrus County. But when you get these counties involved in it, you know that politicians can make or break a drag strip. They can
Bingo.
make or break it.
Bingo.
And I'm not, in some ways, I'm not a fan of politicians, and in some ways I am, because it's the way our country was set up to run. But if you've got a politician that loves drag racing, holy smokes, that's like well, I ain't even gonna say it.
Hey, last thing, Bobby, is side betting allowed on Competition Plus? Like, do you have a domain for that yet?
No, I'm still trying to get
I know you have
classifieds going.
I think you need to get a betting site going, because Mikey here wants to lock in, and I might have to take you up on that, Mikey. But hey, we're not going to talk about that. I'm late to the party. I think we got a guest here waiting for us. Lee, Bobby, let's take this to another level. We got Mr. Bob Tasca on the Competition Plus Power Hour tonight. We're going to talk everything Fords, Lee, even though you don't like them. Let's go.
Who said I don't like Fords?
I don't know. I got to pick on you for some reason today. Why not?
Dude,
Grasshopper's feeling full of his oats there.
I know. I mean,
hey, negative results back, so I'm just,
good.
Hey, we're good.
I have to be a Ford guy. My dad worked for the Ford Pro Stock team back in the day. I mean, I have to be a Ford guy.
No. See, the Ford lifestyle isn't a have to be. It's a choice. Okay? Guys that wear boat shoes and in their 50s have to be Chevy guys.
Yeah. Look, it was Hugh
guys
Black,
that like
Bob Liddon, and Bill Elliott. That was it. So Ford.
While you guys were listening to the Backstreet Boys, I was going through Roy Hill's drag racing school with Bob Tasca. And with that, I'll bid you farewell.
A brilliant race to the top end of the drag strip, and it's Bob.
Happy birthday to Mustang, 57 years. I'm so privileged to be able to drive the fastest and quickest Mustang on the planet. Ford, thank you, Mustang, and all those Mustang owners. Happy birthday. Yeah! Woo!
John's ready, so's Bob. Bob Tasca goes back to back. He wins it 4 flat. 326 miles an hour. John Force goes 401 at 321 miles an hour, and Bob Tasca takes the stripe by 3 thousandths of a second.
Bob Tasca, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, it's great to be on the show. Love seeing those clips, man. I tell you, that's what it's all about. Some close drag racing there.
Yeah, man, the race you had with John there at the Southern Nationals, what a stellar drag race. That was great to see from the stands. But as you come on, I do want you to know that my co-host over there has already predicted that Matt Hagan's going to win the championship. What are your thoughts about that?
Hey, listen, not if I got something to say about it. I mean, certainly he's got the momentum right now, but a lot of racing left. Anything can happen. 1.5 points at Pomona. It really is a wide open field as far as I'm concerned. You know, he's the front runner, but, you know, this sport's hero to zero, zero to hero, pretty quick on you. So we'll see what Dallas brings, and we'll go from there. But I wouldn't put any money on who's going to win this thing yet.
Mm-mm.
You definitely can't, you know, put any money on it, and that's the tricky part. We as media people, we have to make bold predictions. We have to say stuff, and at this point, I mean, the way the cookie is crumbling right now, you know, but like you said, any day. And I mentioned it too. Don't try to throw me completely under the bus there, Lee. I said funny car and pro stocks are the two most competitive classes we have. Did I not say that?
You
so
did.
Anyway, so we'll forgive him, Bob. But I talked to you down in Vegas right after that win. And I remember saying, thank you for doing it for Mustang fans out there, like you mentioned in that video, but most importantly, having this partnership with Ford, what has that meant to you over the years?
You know, people ask me what it's like to drive a nitro funny car, and for me, it's a privilege to drive a nitro funny car. I mean, there's a handful of people in the world that get to do it, and to do it at the level that we're competing at with a sponsor that I literally grew up with as a kid. You know, I tell people I was born and raised in a Ford dealership, and to be able to represent them on a national level, the Ford fans, the Ford dealers across the country, it really is a special, you know, it's be able to live my dream and go out there and chase something that I've wanted to do my whole life. So I'm having a whole lot of fun doing it. It's the best hot rod that I've had in my career. And, you know, I think we're just getting started. This is, you know, a long-term plan. And, you know, Zippy and I and Schaefer, we've been together really for a short period of time, only a couple of years. And we've built a great platform here, and, you know, we're laser focused on running strong to the end and, you know, get ready for the 2022 season. So we have 4 more races to go. I told my guys we're going to have to win 2 of the 4 to really be a contender going into Pomona. We've gone back to back this year. I've done it a couple times in my career. So we're more than capable of doing it. I still feel that, you know, the championship is in our control, even though Hagan's got a pretty sizable lead. You know, he's going to have his slip-ups over the next couple of races, as we all have. And the cars that can go out in these next 4 races and compete, you know, the strongest have a chance to really win this championship. And there's a whole bunch of us.
Yeah, what do you feel that it's going to take to seal the deal, get a championship? Because definitely, like 2019, you all ripped off several races of stellar performance and wins. Here you have back-to-back wins in 2021, but there have been some first-round exits. Paul Lee, I'm sure you don't want to see him in the countdown anymore. So what else is it? Or is it just everything falling the right way, the proverbial racer's luck?
Well, I think you make your own luck. You know, the truth is our car has fallen off a little bit from the highs this season. And, you know, there's a multitude of things, you know, clutch disc change and tune-ups change. And, you know, the cars never stops evolving. But when you got John Schaefer and Mike Neff behind you and the group of guys in my car, you can't ever count us out. And we have a lot of confidence that, we'll be able to finish the season strong. And it's going to take, for our team, coming from behind right now, it's going to take, in my opinion, we got to win 2 of the next 4 races, and definitely no first round losses. I'd probably like to pick win in Dallas to get a little momentum, and maybe a couple semifinals, and then win Pomona with 1.5 points at Pomona. That's a pretty big swing. And all it takes is one slip up by Hagen, for example, and then you got 5 or 6 cars that can go into this home stretch and win the championship. It's gut wrenching for the teams, but it's awesome for the fans to see this level of competition. I think it's, in all my career, I don't know of another year in funny car where the competition has been this tight.
Right. Like Tums needs to hurry up and come on as a sponsor for Funny Car itself right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's you watch the Olympics this year, and everyone goes crazy over, they won by a half a second or 0.3 of a second. I mean, we're winning and losing races at over 330 miles an hour by thousandths of a second. And, you feel like, last weekend we lost by, 300ths of a second to Hagen in St. Louis, 0.03 of a second. It's like, the average fans and friends call me. They're like, we don't even understand how the timing systems can even see that. I said, well, trust me, 300ths is a big deal in our sport. A couple thousandths, it starts to get close. But that's what makes this sport so exciting and, great for the fans. And, what a crowd we had at St. Louis. It's just been a great year.
So we have a fan question here. It says, ask Bob what we can do to get Fords back into factory stock showdown.
Well, factory stock showdown, I asked my Uncle Carl. He drives that Cobra Jet. And, I think the challenge with the, if they're talking about the Cobra Jet class, the factory experimental class, the rules change. And one year it favors the Fords, one year it favors the Chevys and the Dodges. And, I think NHRA's had a real hard time getting their arms around, I guess you could say parity across the 3 manufacturers. And it's run people out because, the money that you got to spend to run these cars is totally ridiculous, to be quite frank with you. And the average racer can't afford it. I mean, heck, we can't afford it, so the bottom line is that I think they let the class get away from them, NHRA, early on, and they haven't been able to reel it in. And it's just a money pit right now. And I think that's, some of the challenges that you're seeing some of these Ford teams have.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of the fans don't understand right now with factory stock, even though it's such a great class. And a lot of diehards that are like old school pro stock lovers look to it. The cat kind of got out of the bag when you've got guys buying from the factory, stripping it down, rebuilding it, still within rules, and putting it back out on the track. It's
out of control, and that it's a shame because I had personally high expectations of the class, but it got out of control. I mean, it got to the level of almost pro stock, to be honest with you. But we'll see. I mean, I think they'll reel it in to some degree. I'm excited about the electric class that it's been talked about. I think that's coming in a big way. And, I'm a huge electric, fan. People used to, say to me, oh my God, you're not a gas guy. And I said, no, you got me all wrong. I said, I'm a performance guy. And there's these electric cars are going to be, a class to be reckoned with as it unfolds. I know we're losing somebody there.
My co-host Slammin' Sam is not a fan whatsoever.
And they said to me, they said, your Nitro Funny car is pretty cool, but what are people going to do when it's not the fastest and quickest car in drag racing? And I said, well, what do you mean it's not the fastest and quickest? He said, well, before the end of the decade, we're going to outrun you. And it's crazy. I mean, it's that level of confidence that these engineers have, and you're seeing it more and more come into all forms of racing, not just drag racing, but to break that record in that electric Cobra Jet at 812 and 172 miles an hour in a 5,300 pound car, 5,300 pounds. People don't realize that that's how heavy that car is. It's pretty extraordinary. And I think we're going to go even faster in Las Vegas. But, maybe that's a little inside information, but we're certainly going to try.
Yeah, I did not realize that car was 5,300 pounds.
5,300 pounds. What's interesting is they got engines today that'll make more power than a nitro funny car, but they don't have the battery technology. So that's the real limiting factor.
Okay. Wait a minute. Pause.
Yep.
Repeat what you just said.
They have technology today in engines, electric engines, that'll make more power to the tire than a nitro funny car engine. However, the limiting factor is the battery. So the battery would be so heavy and large that the car would obviously, it wouldn't run anywhere near a funny car. But the engine technology is actually there with these new electric engines that they've worked on. I mean, you see some of the other manufacturers with what they're doing with production cars that run almost in the eights off the showroom floor. But the limiting factor are the batteries, but that's where the advancement is coming so rapidly. I mean, literally every couple of years, the battery technology, triples in what it can do. And with solid state batteries being developed, it's going to be pretty cool. I tell you. And what I love most about drag racing is that, in some racing, it's either or, right? Like, will NASCAR go electric? And when will that happen? But in drag racing, electric is a class. It's a class. It's all it is. I mean, you want to come see the nitro burning machines, you're going to come see them. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the car I'm going to be in until I retire. But the truth is that electric is going to come into play, and you'll see me in one of those cars too, because I love racing. I don't care what's in it. But that's what's great about NHRA is you can see the different classes from motorcycles, all the way up to nitro cars.
I don't know if you guys know this, but my ears are bleeding a little bit. Then I heard that. So, okay, I'm going to roll through these really quick. Really quick. Boom, boom. Okay. We're done there. I'm Bob. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I can do it, but
I can tell you this. Okay. And I drive an electric Mach-E. Once they solve the range anxiety and the ability to recharge these things, like you get gas, you'll never drive a gas engine again. There is nothing a gas engine does better than electric. Electric's more fun to drive. It packages better. It's literally a third of the cost of ownership from a maintenance standpoint versus a gas engine. And I don't know. I don't know anything. And I drove the electric F-150, which is mind-blowing. It's actually literally mind-blowingly good to the point where, again, other than figuring out the infrastructure to charge, which is coming, as we all know, you will never drive a gas-powered F-150 again. That's how much better the F-150 is. And I know there's skeptics out there, and there's people that say it, but all I say to these friends of mine, literally personal friends of mine, is just go drive one. Just go in one and go drive one. And you want to know one of the most liberating things about an electric car is you don't have to go to a gas station. It's like the most filthiest thing on the planet is a gas station. It's the most filthiest thing on the planet is a gas station. And it's just nice not to have to go to a gas station. And but anyways, that's enough about electric. I'm a big proponent of it because, like Carroll Shelby and my grandfather, all these guys, it was about what was next. It was never about what was in the rearview mirror. It's what's next. And obviously electric is coming. So you want to pretend it's not happening and put your head in the sand, or do you want to get engaged with it and learn about it and grow with it? And that's, kind of how I look at it. And, Ford has an unbelievable lineup coming with electric vehicles.
So you have me interested when you say that there's an engine that makes as much horsepower as a nitro funny car race. Like that's I don't care who you are, and I've swore up and down on this show, I'm not a fan of the electric car right now. But if you have that type,
How about
If you have
335
that,
miles an hour at the quarter mile and no parachutes? You just step off the gas and the thing decels, regenerating. Because you'll go back, you'll see these cars run over. They'll run faster than us at some point at the quarter mile because you can stop them by just stepping off the throttle. So hey, listen, we're a few years away. I'm not saying that's happening next year, but you watch the evolution of what we're going to do. It's going to be like, imagine if I, could go back in time. I've always said I'd like to go back to the 60s, when my grandfather was racing, and just be witness to the milestones. Just be witness to some of the greatest icons in our sport and the barriers that they broke, in disbelief, right? And we're going to have the same opportunity in our lifetimes to see what electric can do. And it's going to be fun. So again, all those naysayers out there, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's an either or. Have both, man. Have both.
No, I get that. And like I said, that kind of information is very interesting. I look at the standpoint, just like Russ here saying, like, I live in the frozen tundra. It gets to -60 out here. The one thing I'm going to hate is if I'm driving down the road and stop somewhere and then the thing does not, like, I don't need to get stranded out hunting. So I think in that sense, I'm going to stick to my gas burner. But hey, I'll take you up on any offer. If you want to change my mind, I'll take you up on any offer to get behind the wheel of one of those things. Lee and I can put a couple of GoPros in there, take it for a spin, and see what we think, I guess, right, Lee?
Get you behind the wheel of a Mach-E GT, which I had the opportunity to drive in the Ford test track. I'm telling you right now, it's the most fun vehicle I've ever taken around that track, and I've been in GT 500. So you won't believe what it's like. They say, they don't have the sound. Well, if you're driving the car, the greatest sound that you want to hear is you want to hear the tires. You want to hear how the tire is gripping, whether you're in a road course and with an electric car, it's like you're really part of the asphalt and the tire, and you can hear the slip and too much slip. And I tell you, driving the car on the road course was incredible. And in the electric Cobra Jet, it's got a pretty cool sound. It's got a high pitch whine because you can hear the gears in the electric engine spooling up, and it's different. I mean, it's not a nitro funny car, and it never will be a nitro funny car, but it's going to do some pretty cool things that are going to, definitely impress some people.
Bobby, I'm going to spend some time with Bob, and he knows some stuff that I don't know. Guys, Lee, it would be an epiphany if I convert it and come back and say, guys, electric car is the way to go. I don't think I'll say that, but
I get my word cut off for me, but I'm going to give it a shot.
You definitely need help over there, Slammin' Sam. And hey, how impressive! Again, 5,300 pounds, and that thing can put it on its bumper. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. But look, let me talk about the funny car. Let's get back to the funny car real quick. All right, you got Dodge and their involvement. You've got Toyota with their involvement, and you've got Ford. And I would say you're the main Ford team along with Wilk. You're the two Ford guys out there. And there are some others that come in, but maybe they're older bodies or they're part-time independent teams, things of that nature. What is Ford's involvement in nitro funny car racing? Like, how involved are the engineers with the body, with technology, those type of things?
Well, I mean, they're instrumentally involved. I couldn't, forget the money that they give us for the sponsorship. If it's not for their engineering, on Aero is a huge piece of what they bring to the equation. The body that we run, the time that went into designing that body, whether it's safety, aerodynamics, performance. I mean, you just can't buy that, that level of experience out on the street. So a huge part of it, but they work with us in a lot of areas, whether it's, data collection or, looking at different things or, bouncing different things off of them. I mean, they have a brain trust there that's pretty impressive, as you can imagine. and they've been instrumental with the performance of the car. And we've run some of the top speeds of the year in that Mustang, and I think we can go even a lot faster, to be honest with you.
Lee, at this point, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm mind blown here of this electric motor that can make as much horsepower
and torque. Actually, more torque, to be honest with you, we estimate.
Okay.
More.
See,
yeah.
These are the numbers I need. Like, when I sit here and think about it, I'm a sound guy too. Like, being around cars, when something sounds right and when something doesn't sound right. And I'll be 100% honest with you. Who was it? It was Tony Stewart in Pomona. I'm sitting up talking to, one of the fans, and he does the burnout. And I'm literally talking, and I glance over, and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, okay. It's. I think at this point, you know how us drag racers are. Change is different. Sound is very important. So it's going to be a learning curve, but I think I'm stuck at, there's a motor out there with more torque and as much power as a funny car.
Well, put this way, I stood behind Stewart. I was helping him, kind of get familiar with the electric Cobra Jet. That was pretty cool. Not many people get to give Tony Stewart pointers. And as soon as he gets ready to go, I go like this with my ears, and then I'm like, "What am I doing here? This is I don't need to put my fingers in my ears." But it's pretty cool. We're gonna run the car in Las Vegas, so that should be cool. It's from an electric standpoint, the quickest track on the planet would be Denver, because the thinner the air, the faster it'll go. So Vegas is halfway to Denver. And it's a 1% grade. There's only a couple tracks in the country that are downhill 1%. I think Charlotte, Vegas, and Pomona actually go downhill. So we think that we got a chance to break that 8:12 record that we set in Norwalk in the dead of summer with terrible air. So it'll be interesting to see. And obviously that'll be winding down on the season. And hopefully we're coming off some really good races in Dallas and in Bristol, and we can go into Vegas with some momentum.
So, Bob, you mentioned earlier in one of your comments the R word, retirement. Now, I don't want to throw anything out there too early.
Yeah.
But with you mentioning it, I do.
Towards the end of the decade. Towards the end of the decade,
yes.
I said.
Way on down the road. But I am curious.
At some point, I'll get out of the car, and my goal is to own the team.
That's what I want.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, listen, Ford and Tasca synonymous in drag racing. I have absolutely no plans to retire anytime soon. I love what I'm doing. I'm probably the best that I've ever been at it. And in drag racing, you can say that because we learn 3 seconds at a time. So it takes years of experience. People say about force, but that guy's got more experience than most of the field added together, right? So you get experience over time. And I feel that, I've never been more comfortable in the car than I am now, but at some point, I'll get out of the car and put, someone in it and own the team. I mean, I want to be a part of drag racing. I love being out there with the fans and the sport and the people. It's part of who my family really is. I mean, we were part of the beginning of it back in the 60s. So, you're going to see us around for a long time. And, I know Ford loves drag racing. I mean, they were pioneers back in the 60s, and they're pioneers today with the whole electric car program. And, I know they're committed to that series. And, we don't even know what it looks like yet. We don't know what it's going to be yet. All we know that NHRA is behind it. And, Ford's going to continue to develop their technology, over the next couple of years. And I would expect, maybe 24, in that time frame, you'll see a real pro electric series, in my opinion, with a couple of the OEs for sure, competing at a high level.
Well, there you go. Look, not trying to rush you out of the seat, but definitely wanted to know, like, when you're done driving, is the team done or rolling into that ownership?
Hey, listen,
mode?
not if I have anything to do about it. I mean, we're blessed with great sponsors, Ford being, the leading one with Motorcraft, but I know they have no plans of getting out of drag racing. In fact, we're working on a multi-year extension for the Nitro car as we speak, which, hopefully we'll be able to announce here shortly. And, it's great. Like I said, it's a privilege to represent a company that I've grown up with as a kid. I have so much respect for. And, I said from the very beginning, my goal was to leave the Tasca and Ford racing legacy and drag racing a little richer than I found it. And I think we're well on our way of doing that.
Definitely. And look, speaking of those sponsors and partners, over the last couple of years, we see different schemes, we see different looks and names on your car that are under that umbrella. So like Motorcraft, Omnicraft, you've got Quick Lane, I believe it is. So talk to me about some of the different segments.
Yeah, PPG, BG. We're just bringing on a new sponsor, AutoFi, and it takes a lot of money. I mean, as much as you love to do what we do, it takes millions and millions of dollars to run these cars, and it's difficult. Even for a company like Ford to be able to write the full check. It's just they give me a lot of funding and they have the majority of my sponsorship, but I still got to go out there and work to find the remaining dollars to fund this team. At the level that I want to compete at. And I'm very, very fortunate to have such great sponsors like Brown & Brown. I mean, you can just look at the car, the logos are on it, that fill in, the sponsorship portfolio. And that's really, a word that you hear now in racing is a portfolio of sponsors to keep these things funded and running. And, we're in a good place. You're going to see us around for many years to come with, some announcements we got coming up.
All right.
That's great to hear. You're still, going out there and finding new partners to come into the sport and bringing people in, like you said, a portfolio of, sponsors. You always hear people saying this or that, but a portfolio, I really like the way you put that there. You've dropped some information on us that I think, the weights of the cars, all this different stuff. I think you may have changed my mind a little bit, but that's what this show is about, is diving a little bit deeper into everything. But going into Dallas and going into some of the later races of the year, like you said, you've doubled up, different things like that. When you get back to Vegas, knowing that you've already won that event already this year, is there a bigger chip on your shoulder or advantage you guys may have from, running the car earlier?
It was funny you say that. I was just talking about it the other day. We really don't look back, more than probably 2 or 3 races. And what we did in Vegas is totally different than what we're doing now. And that's because clutch disc change, chassis change, evolve, pressure plates change. The car is not the same car from even 3 or 4 races ago. So, yeah, I mean, you got confidence, heck, I've won Dallas, I've won Bristol, I've won Vegas now. So, 3 of the next 4 races I've actually won, but that doesn't mean you're going to win when you're rolling the next time. I wish it was that easy. But I think that my confidence comes from my team and Mike Neff and John Schaefer. I mean, these guys have won championships. They've won races. I think they've won every race on the circuit, maybe some of them multiple times. So that's where my confidence comes from, that I got the right team that's going to put this Motorcraft Mustang in a position to win. Now, winning, hey, you got to go out there and earn it, and you're probably going to get a little lucky from not, every once in a while to win one of these things. That's how competitive it is. But we're certainly going to put our team in a position to win, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting.
Bob, look, last question for you, though there's many more that we definitely got to have you on another time to dig a little deeper, and the fans have got some other great questions. But if you win the championship, is it like 25% off or 50% off at Tasca Ford? What can we expect so I can go buy a Ford?
Hey, listen, we always got deals at Tasca Ford, but we got to have a championship sell-a-thon for sure. So let me stew on that a little bit, but hey, listen, that's what we're out here to do, is to compete and run for that championship. And hey, don't give Matt Hagan that championship yet. Trust me, this Ford Mustang is going to be coming at him these next couple of races.
All right. Thank you, Bob. And
Thanks,
keep,
guys. Great to be on.
That's what we like to hear.
for the Blue Oval Brigade. We like it, man.
All right. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bob, he's cool.
Man, Lee. That thing makes as much horsepower, more torque. Woo!
Well,
I want to ride in one of them.
Let me try to frame this, if you will allow. I hope that it will be compatible and that it will make sense. But remember, Sam, and for all your viewers out there, when we say a diesel-powered train, a diesel motor isn't actually pulling the load. The diesel motor is recharging the batteries that pull the load. So electric technology has been powerful for a long time. And personally, like, I've always liked being on an electric forklift compared to a propane forklift.
Oh,
like, give me electric, instant like that.
Yeah, and I give you that, and I understand that 100%. It's just like electric golf carts are faster. Like, it's not that. It's the simple thing of it's motor sport. Like, it's what we're used to. Like, it's the sound. I give it crap. Now, granted, if I get into one of these cars, like my cousin has a Tesla. He always talks about, it's instant power. It's instant power. You feel it right then, right now. So I get it. I just got to be the stubborn guy on the show that just says no. Like, we ain't gonna take this. So
right.
That's all it is.
You fit that role well. You certainly do, sir.
Hey, but I think Tasca might. If I'm a Mustang guy, that I'm a Ford guy too. Right. But now, if I get to ride in one of
Ford is about to be a Mustang of some shape, form, or fashion with what they're going on marketing wise.
But I mean, if I can get into that GT that he's talking about, hey, I'm going to ride in it before you, Lee. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, so. Okay. Well, I might want to ride in what we've got coming up to talk about, and that is with BJ Vangsness. He can correct me. BJ.
I'm just going to call him BJ. BJV is his name.
We're going to have him on. This weekend there is the World Wheel Standing Championships. I think that's what it's called. We'll get it right. It right. But look, we got some B-roll because you can see on Competition Plus TV. That's the YouTube channel, Competition Plus. You can see this drag racing action, and it's all wheel standing.
Lee, before we go to that, if you were in a car, how far do you think you would go down the track in a wheel stand before you chickened out and left?
Dude, you don't know me. Like, I think there's roll cage, there's metal, and I got a fire suit on. I'm good. Let's do it. Okay? Let's do it.
See, that's why we get along. This is exactly why we get along.
Let's make sure we cut the floorboard out and put a window and we can see, yeah. Well, look, folks,
my man.
And we're going to bring BJ on, and we're going to talk about this great, unique drag racing event.
Was it worth it?
No. Look at my car.
And the camera lady bailed, and I don't blame her. BJ, can you hear us? Uh-oh. We can't hear you if you can hear us.
His mic is unmuted now.
Uh-oh. You got any earbuds? Any earbuds to put in? Try that for us. Sometimes that solves it because we cannot hear you.
Maybe we might have to call him, Lee. I think we know how to do that. So, but hey, I gotta say,
Nope, nothing yet. Is your mic volume up? Try that. Sometimes that can get turned down. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get there.
It's part of going live.
It is part of going live.
But Lee, I gotta say that Vega, pretty nice ride.
Definitely.
But did you see it? Did you see that comment? Was it worth it? No, I wrecked my car.
Right. BJ, we're going to drop you. Uh-oh. No,
we can't hear you.
No, we're going to drop you out. Come back in. Try to come back in. Sorry, folks.
And as we do that, Lee, I might try and get my stuff together, and we can send him a message and get his audio via phone too.
Yes, we'll
like
see
we've done before.
Get that ready, get that prepared, just in case. We'll go audio only with BJ. Great event coming up at Byron Dragway. I believe that's how it's pronounced in Illinois. It's this weekend. Les Mayhew for Competition Plus will be there on site and will be filming. And these cars compete for, I believe it's $10,000 for the best wheel stand of the day. That's all. That's what it's about. Wheel stands. And they're not wheel standard. They're not wheel standers, but their car is doing wheel stands. As if they
it's just, I mean, when you look at that the green car that was back on there, right? No front tires. Like that's real, how you set up a car back in the day. That's what we grew up with Hot Wheels on. But then who needs the front tires if you're going to be hanging them?
Well, apparently to go somewhat straight from the get-go, you do need both. BJ, what about now? Oh, we just had you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Got him.
All right.
Cool. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Pronounce your last name and pronounce the name of the drag strip because we've been getting that wrong all night.
All right. Well, it's BJ Vangsness, Byron Dragway.
There we go. Awesome.
I'm still calling you BJV.
All right, that's fine.
So this weekend, that's correct. This event happens this weekend coming up.
This weekend, Sunday, October 3rd, it's the 27th annual World Power Wheel Standing Championships.
Whoa, 27th?
27th annual.
I didn't realize it's been going on that long. That is amazing.
Yeah, it started back years ago through a small challenge between a racer and another racer, and it really took off from there.
It definitely has taken off. I know for CompetitionPlus.tv, almost 500,000 views on some of the videos that have been captured at that particular event. What's your take on it as a guy at the track, a promoter? What does this compare like to maybe a typical having Nitro Funny Car come in or nostalgia cars come in? Where does this fall in the pecking order, you might say?
Well, the one thing about the World Power Wheel Standing Championship is you have no idea what's going to happen. It's totally unpredictable. It's totally wild. It could be violent. It could be incredible. I mean, it's something that you have no idea what to expect. It's the unexpected. And that's what makes it so popular. I mean, these guys are on the stage. They've got to perform. And the way to perform is to get it up and carry it up as long as you possibly can. And just like you said, to the point where you chicken out, you got to lift because you have no idea where you're at in the track.
Well, man, some haven't bothered the chicken out at all.
So if you go back from the years ago, Byron, first off, is the widest track in the U.S. It's the widest 2-lane drag strip because it was the first 4-lane drag strip back in the 60s. So Byron used to run 4 cars abreast is what it used to do. We narrowed it up to 90 feet. And it's so wide that it allows us to be able to put on an event like this where a narrow track can. A guy's climbing the wall instantly when he comes down. So there's more room to roam at the Playground of Power. And that's one thing that has created it. So 27 years ago, my partner back then, God bless his soul, Ron Leake, we had a guy come up in the starting line, and he carried a wheelie out about 100 feet. And Ron just went crazy. And he called the guy to the tower and he says, I'll give you $100 if you can do that again. And the guy says, I can do it. So he said, you come collect your $100 if you can do it again. And he did it again. And there wasn't but 100 people in the stands, but the 100 people went crazy. And after that, another guy came to the tower and he said, I can beat that. Give me the challenge. So this guy had, like a red Chevelle, and he went ahead and pulled up to the line and launched it. And the car didn't get up but a toy terrier wheelie, about a foot in the air. And Ron just ripped him apart. And the guy got mad and he said, I want one more shot at it. So Ron says, fine, one more shot after the guy begged. So the guy went back to his pit area and I'm watching him. He's throwing his toolbox. He's throwing his floor jack. He's throwing everything he can in the back of the trunk and wheels it back up to the starting line. He does his burnout. He launches the car. It goes straight on the bumper. He carries it out. He crosses the lane. He nips the left side wall, smashes his fender, comes down, and he's like a glory, and he gets his $100. And that was the start of the World Power Wheel Stand Contest. That was 28 years ago, and the first one started after that.
That is epic, Sam.
I don't know. That just seems a guy that's like, you know what? Hey, there's a challenge out there. And that's how drag racers are. Every little challenge that you can meet or try and take, drag racers want to be the best at everything. So why not do this? But this class is known for, in my eyes, if you go on any YouTube video, there's 2 cars that stand out. There's that orange Vega, and then you have the Chinto. Now, I've got a little bit of problem with that car.
Well, first off, orange car is a Gremlin, an AMC Gremlin, where they were headquartered at in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The driver is Brian Ambrosini. And Brian Ambrosini, with that Gremlin, does it with his foot and his power, and he pedals it and he drives it. He's a 7-time champion at the World Power Wheel Stand Championship. And these guys are nice and mellow as can be. But when they get behind that wheel, when they stage that car, they become an animal. They're just out of control. And you'd have no idea what to expect. I try to calm them down sometimes, and there's no talking to them. And so Brian Ambrosini is pretty wild. I know on one of his YouTube videos, there was at one point over 7 million views. So he's extremely popular. The Shinto, which is Chris Pierce you're talking about, this is the Shinto's last stand. He claims that this is it after this event is his plans. And he wrecked the car last year. He got it back together. So he's ready to come out this year as well.
Well, I mean, for me, after especially having Bob Tasca on, I think that car's been wrecked for a few years with having that Chevy power plant that he's got in there.
Yeah. Some of the other real notables of past winners, which are really popular, Jason Schubert with an Olds Cutlass. He's done extremely well at the wheel stand contest. Jeff Wild, who is a rock singer, rock star on wheelie bars is what he is. Launchin Larry has been out practicing with his Badfish Barracuda lately. I think he did a 400-plus wheel stand just this last weekend on testing in crosswinds. So he's able to keep it on the track in the crosswinds, which I was kind of concerned for him on that. And obviously on a regular test and tune day or other things we got going on, we don't want to be cleaning up a wheel stand car. And sweet William Worley's coming back this year. And we got a unique one. Eric Olson on a Ford Ranger truck is coming back. So there's some neat cars and many others that have signed up for the event that are going to be there. And it's not just the winner and runner-up. There's also awards for the most photogenic, the most violent, the highest, the longest, the most unique. So there's all kinds of awards, best GM, best Ford, best Mopar. So there's a lot of awards also that are up for grabs for all these guys.
Wow, it seems like you have got it all covered in this event with those type of awards. I've got to ask, how is the winner in fact determined? Like, we're not turning on win lights here apparently, but so how is the number one dude or gal crowned at this event?
The winner, the overall winner, is determined by who went the longest, who could keep it up the longest on the first wheelie. You can't drop down the car and bounce it back up and carry it. It's got to be on two wheels, whoever can carry it the longest.
There you go. There you go.
And we years ago we had a guy go, I would say, right about 1,100 feet, almost to the finish line.
So do you have some of these cars that slowly wheelie up, or do the fans prefer the guy that just slams it on the bumper right away and just rides it out?
I think the fans, it seems like I'm one of the judges, so I'm sitting along the track. And when a guy starts getting about 200 feet and he's still up in the air at 200 feet, he's got the fans' attention. At 300 feet, he's got the stands, the people are on their feet. And at 500 feet, you can't hear a damn thing because they're screaming so loud. There's so much. I don't think it's the fastest or the highest. It's the fact that who can keep it up the longest and keep it up the cleanest. That's the neatest thing. That's what really motivates these guys, because these cars aren't really, some are, they modify a little bit for safety, or modify a little bit so that they can make it down the track properly. But, some of these cars are bracket racing cars, and that's what they do. They bracket race it and they bring it out for the wheel stand contest.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to that and ask this, because even though this is a wheel standing competition, if you will, these cars are not necessarily wheel standers in the sense of like Hell on Wheels and the stagecoach guy out there out west. So they're cars. They're not just designed to do wheel stands.
Yeah, like Ambrosini will run his car in many races, and as well. And Jeff Wild just ran his car in a Buick Club race this last week. And so they do participate in other activities than just this. But this is the one in notoriety. I mean, Jay Leno mentioned it years ago when he was on air. So it creates national attention. We have people coming from overseas, maybe not this year, but we have people that come from overseas. We have a group that used to Germany, Australia. So it's amazing the audience that it captures.
Do you find this event in the competitor ranks as something that continues to grow, or does it seem to be a very niche group that continues to duke it out year after year?
Well, I think there's a niche group of probably 4 or 5 or 6 that battle it out, but they get it taken away from some of these amateurs come in. I mean, last year, a new entry came in and stole a lot of the show. And that's what happens. Some of these other entries come in from other places and do an outstanding job. Sweet William Worley come out of nowhere, out of Michigan, I think is where he's from, and did an incredible job. So it's amazing how some of these guys that are at these other hometown tracks and their buddies are talking to them and say, you need to enter your car in a wheel stand contest. And that's where we get the calls, and we get them signed up.
So for anyone, like you said, for anyone that hasn't been, there's a couple of people, don't know what's going on with the Facebook comments, but I have Facebook pulled up here. Don Moore says, I will be there, never been before. I'm looking forward to it. For someone that's never been, for a first time comer, someone that's in the area and is like, what's really going on? Why should I be there? If you could wrap that up and explain to somebody why they need to be at this event and why it's so different than anything else they'll see, what would you say to them?
Well, there's a lot more to see than just the wheel stand contest. The wheel stand contest goes off at 2 sessions. The first session's at 2:00. The second session's at 4. So the drivers get 2 tries per session on their wheel stand contest. So they get 4 shots all together to try to make it happen. And so if you're there for the wheel stand show, that's when the action's actually going to hit the dance floor. On Saturday, we have top sportsman drivers running. We have index drivers running. We have top dog shootout drivers running. We have the super stockers that are running. E85 group is running. So there's other classes that are running throughout the weekend as well, and also Sunday morning until 2 o'clock. But at 2 o'clock, it's done. That's it. Everybody's done racing. It's nothing but the wheelie show from 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And if we get a little precipitation, we're drying that baby off with our jet dryer, whatever we can, to put those wheelie cars on the track.
Man, what a jam-packed weekend you've got. What a great event. What the cherry on top, as it were, with this wheel standing competition. What's been the highest of highs and what has also been the lowest of lows in this event over the years? What's a moment that you remember that just sticks out? That was just the best moment. And then what was that one that, like, wow, I hope we never have that happen again?
Wow, there's a lot of wow moments. So probably the neatest was the fact that AJ Ferrelli was able to take his Barracuda down 1,200 feet. And it was picking up speed. And my heart's racing because I'm thinking, like, if something happens at this speed on the rear bumper at 100 miles plus an hour, it's going to be serious. And but he laid it down smoothly. It was phenomenal. It was incredible. That was probably one of the most incredible wheel stands. Another incredible one was Brian Ambrosini pulling it off the line, and it's about 3 feet in the air, and it's climbing, and it's climbing, and it's climbing, and he's wrapping the throttle, and I could not believe how well he could keep it up, and I think he went 800 feet that time. The scary moments is, all the guys are running, a lot of them are running radios so that their crew chief on their line can tell them, hey, you're going towards the wall, or you're changing lanes, or where you're at in the track, because they have no idea. Like you said, they don't have a glass floor underneath them to look what's going on. A couple of the guys, they look along the side of the track at the wall, and they try to judge how close they are to the wall themselves, but they also have the radios. So the scary part is when they get too close to the wall and they didn't get radioed in, and then they start climbing the wall. That's the scary part there that I see. But all in all, they've got all the safety harness on, they got all the gear on. I mean, you have all your equipment on tight, so that way, that's the idea in any race car is, plan on an accident, and you're going to walk away fine if you have your gear on right.
So there's more to Siege than just coming out for that. I don't know. I've gotten to one wreck in a race car. I don't want to see a wall or anything else again in my life. But these guys are obviously, that they know the situation that they're going into. They understand that, hey, this is a possibility, but yet they keep coming back, yet they keep doing it. So, like, there's just so many different elements to it. Who would you say, if you had to pick a favorite, I'm going to put you on the spot here. If you had to pick a favorite for this year, who would you think the person right now, if you had to decide, would walk away with the championship?
Boy, that's a tough one. It's so hard for me to pick a favorite because you have no idea. Brian Ambrosini is a big contender, and he doesn't give up. He doesn't quit. But if he blows a motor on his launch or when he does his burnout, I've seen it happen. The guy's out. Chris Pierce, who's in his Shinto, is going to give it all he can to try to keep it up the highest and the longest. Schubert has had a dry spell the last few years, so he's bound and determined to do something to win. In Launch and Larry's been practicing. And so it is so hard to predict. And the newcomers that come in, they're amazing. We had Dan Smith out of down in Missouri came out one year and 500-600 feet on a Duster. They didn't even expect it. It was the cleanest, coolest climbing wheelie all the way, and with a bracket car. So we have another guy out of Indiana with a station wagon that was phenomenal. I don't know if he's coming back this year or not, but he didn't make it last year. But it's amazing. You don't know who's going to show up at these gates. We got Tim Shamblin out of North Carolina with a wild S10 pickup. So you really don't know who's going to carry it the longest. And some of these guys don't want the exposure. They've been practicing elsewhere.
Yeah, you
What
got
do
people
you go ahead, Sam.
on Facebook. Yeah, you got a couple more people on Facebook saying, you know, you got guys coming from Arkansas or Chelsea Simpson. She says, watching the wheel stand in person is one of the greatest thrills thrills to witness in all of the motorsports. Videos do not do it justice. It is a must-see event, and that's you know cool is that people were saying and standing up for this, saying, you know what, hey, you guys may have seen the videos, but if you're not there in person, you don't really understand what it's like. And then I guess I guess one more question for you is: are some of these drivers bringing extra motors and have to worry about oil pans and different things like that? Just because of the severity of coming down hard like that.
I think some guys have protection on there. They put protection for their oil pans. Some are running diapers, which help. Sometimes they come down hard and they do blow an oil pan, or they do their transmission pan, or their radiator happens a lot too. So there are things. A lot of guys are smart enough in this, knowing that they're somewhat experienced, knowing the shift while they're in the air. A lot of them are shifting while they're in the air. And that's one thing why we have the 2 sessions, because at 2:00, if you smash something on your car, they're out there wrenching on it and they're out there fixing it and they're doing whatever they can to get ready for the second session. I mean, I've seen a guy weld his A-arm and it looked as sketchy as could be. Hollywood, and he's down in Southern Illinois with a green Camaro you showed. And he's brought back to the pits and welded West Newman and welded the thing up to come back. And there's no way this car's coming back because the front end, the wheel fell off. The front wheel came off. And I couldn't believe he made it back. And so having those 2 sessions gives them that time frame to work on the car.
Over the years of this competition, what have you seen? What's been your observation of what vehicles tend to do the best in this competition? Or is there really not one particular type of vehicle that does best?
No, I would say there's not really a real type. I mean, it's the driver. It's the Canadian driver we had out there, Rob LaCroix, with a Chevette. And then he had a Pontiac Sunfire, and there was a guy that wasn't lifting. I mean, there's a video on him that's out of control. I mean, he went up on one wheel on the back left side of the bumper, and he's still in it full throttle. When the thing starts to set down, he's still in it full throttle. Slams down and slides across the track. It shows an in-car video, him upside down, slowly unbuckling and dropping out, and boom, right down to the ceiling he went, being upside down. And so, I don't think there's a special car because, I mean, short wheelbase, long wheelbase, they've all won.
All right. Well, I like that anyone can show up and win no matter what they've got. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And one thing I also we really want to thank Don's Garage, the Pontillos, for being a sponsor out of Kenosha. They've done a really good job of helping us out.
Sam?
No, that's awesome, especially to have big sponsors like that to help you guys out and keep promoting. Like you said, you've been doing this for, what's it been, 28 years? I mean,
yeah.
That's, it's something to see. So, Lee, I think you and I need to pencil this on a calendar somewhere, an ongoing calendar of events that we need to come to. And the Monday Morning Racer and Slam and Sam need to be there together and watch some wheel stands.
I tell you, if I did not have PDRA this weekend at Galot Motorsports Park, I would definitely be in Illinois. I would.
Going to that's boring than coming to the World Power Wheel Sailing Championships. You can always or fill in.
Yes. I need to find me some fill-ins for some of these events, sure, and then be like, okay, you go there, I'm over here. I need to figure that out. Well, look, the brass tacks of it all.
Yeah.
What does it? What does the ticket cost, and when do people need to show up? All those type of things before we let you go.
Tickets. There's a 2-day ticket. A lot of people come over and spend the night, camp overnight. 2-day ticket is $50. A 1-day ticket on Sunday is $35.
All right. All right.
And that's adult prices. And I can't remember the kid prices, I think are $10 if I remember it for kid prices. And so, I mean, thanks. I really want to thank, Don's Auto Parts for being a big part of it. I also want to thank, putting this event together. It's not just one promoter. It's the team. It's the family. That's our family's involved that helps organize and put them together. It's the local Lions Club, the Masonic group that comes out that helps park cars, and many volunteers, many of the racers help out. So it's really kind of neat. And the one thing about Byron Dragway, it's our hobby. It's not our business. And we've been involved in many other businesses. We're in the car business like Tasca. And so we're in other things. But this is what we created as a hobby for ours. And we finally said that, at this point, we probably want to put it up for sale and turn it over to somebody to take advantage of it. So there's an opportunity for you guys to move your studio to Byron. And you got a racetrack right there.
Bobby!
Oh, yeah, Bobby. So Bobby right now, he has got to get us on salary. He's got to pay for the bill at Vegas for the dinner at Fugo de Chao, and he's purchasing a drag strip apparently. So thank you, Bobby.
Can handle it. But, and what we do is also we try to help out the community in many ways and the people in many ways. ALS Foundation is doing a 50-50 raffle at the track this weekend, which is really neat. We try to give our part there. Another shout out I like to put out there is if you go to Byron Dragway's Facebook site, we have an 8-year-old Jeg Wheats that has NPC, a disease that they're trying to keep him alive through medicine and everything else. They're looking for signatures on that form and anything that people can help. So he got his junior dragster license a couple years ago, and every time we give a junior dragster license, I'm at the end of the finish line. We follow him down and we do a photo shoot. And I got a picture of him on there from back a couple years ago when he got his junior dragster license. But if you people that are watching, if they could go to our Byron Dragway site and help out with that petition and what we can to help a young man that's struggling, we'd love that too.
All right.
If maybe you have
comments and send us a link. Maybe we can even get that on Competition Plus.
Yeah.
And so send us email. One of us will work that out.
Yeah. It's a very rare disease. I think like 100 people have it. And there's talks about them not continuing the medicine for them, which keeps them alive.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, definitely send us that link. And I know Lee and I will get it plastered over our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and definitely make a cut of this somehow, some way, and maybe get it on YouTube and get it on Competition Plus. Want to help you guys out in any way of helping people. That's what it's about, is giving back to your community, giving back to the people that support you guys, and you guys are doing a great thing by supporting them. So honestly, hats off to you guys.
Yeah, we love all the people. We love all the racers. We really make it an experience to enjoy. We want to create memories in people's lives. And that's what we're about at Byron Dragway.
Well, BJ, look, thank you for your time. We hope y'all have a stellar event this weekend. That it's one of the best ones that you all have ever had. So last words from you, if any.
No, I want to thank you guys for having us on. We greatly appreciate it. Hope the fans get a chance to come out. Hope you guys get a chance to come out. If not, watch the YouTube videos. They'll be up on YouTube probably right after it happens. So it should be a lot of action and looking forward to the 27th annual this weekend.
All right. Thank you, BJ. We're going to send you out with the B-roll again from the event itself.
All right. Thanks.
Was it worth it?
No. Look at my car.
Sam, pay attention over there.
I'm actually looking at other videos of that. Not gonna lie.
Dude,
I'm over here YouTubing.
The guy is on the wall, full throttle. Wah!
Dude, do you see? Like, okay, I always talk about launching in the car, but these guys are getting up, hitting the back bumper, wheels are still spinning, catch it. Like, man, that's some exciting stuff to see. Like, I'm gonna put that on the list of, you know what, if it's NHRA event and there's nothing wrong with that and going to catch one of those, I got to do it. Like, it's just one of those things that like these, like people are saying, you know, you got to catch it, Lee. I don't know what happened, and I don't want people to think we're ignoring their comments or anything. I just want to make another point that the comments on Facebook, somehow we're not seeing them on our feed, so we're not throwing up any comments, but we're looking over them. A lot of people are saying this is a fun event to go to, that they can't wait for Sunday. BJ does a great job. So, I mean, hats off to them. And then, you know, the added, you know, stuff that they do of giving back to these young kids. I mean, that's what it's all about. We talk about it on our personal shows about giving back to the younger generations. I feel like you and I are a testament to that, of seeing the lack thereof of, you know, being included in the separation from the older generations to what we have now. So I think giving back to the kids is very important.
Definitely giving back to those. What a great event that's going to be. It has been. Didn't realize it's been going on for 28, 27 years. I did not know that. So that is good to know, and that it's had a long history, and I know it will continue to have a long history into the future. Folks, me and Sam have got a little bit under 20 minutes left. We're going to keep yakking it up about drag racing. We want you all to join in on that discussion. Please be sure. I just took a look at YouTube, and we got like 42, 43 people watching, but only 20-something likes. Hit the like button for us on YouTube, on Facebook. Share, retweet. Let folks know about the Competition Plus Power Hour. Let them know. We want them to come watch and then yak it up around drag racing along with us and you all. Sam, this past weekend, let me give a shameless plug. Yes, definitely shameless. I have no shame. Let me give a shameless plug here. So I've got some footage on my YouTube channel. Alcohol Dragster, Division 1, Virginia Motorsports Park. You can see that on my YouTube channel, Monday Morning Racer, and Alcohol Funny Car, Division 1, Virginia Motorsports Park, from this past weekend at the regional event there. Some stellar drag racing. Folks, if you're not attending your regionals near you, find out when they're happening next year, 2022, and catch your regionals. It's kind of laid back. You've got a lot of great access to alcohol teams. And, man, the alcohol teams, I think, are very receptive to fans. You can get up in their pits. You can watch them even closer than the Nitro guys. And one of our alumni, if you will, Slammin' Sam, on my show when you hosted it, he won. Sean Bellemere, he won there in Virginia.
There you go. And Lee, do you have any clips of my YouTube stuff that's going on, or do you only think about yourself?
Well, someone does have access. Someone does have access to upload, and
shameless plug there, Lee.
Upload some images.
Gee, shameless plug there, Lee. Yes, I do have some videos dropping on Outlaw Performance ENT. You guys can check those out. Even on our personal stuff, guys, not just Competition Plus. We are big supporters of Competition Plus, but we're growing our own stuff too as two younger media guys. So please go over and give our Facebooks, our Instagrams, our Snapchats, whatever we may have, but especially on YouTube, go over, like, subscribe to those. They help us out. Like and subscribe Competition Plus. It helps us all out more than what you guys know. Get our stuff out in front of everyone so they know who is the people you can believe on the internet, because there's a lot of fluff that's out there right now. Lee, just I don't know, just the state of drag racing. I mean, we've talked about it on and on. I kind of want to bring this up because, like, what I see right now, what's happening in Texas, with what's going to happen down in Texas, I wonder if this is going to be the start, or if this is going to be the momentum going into more national events, right? Will people say, you know what, hey, why don't we try to do something that's maybe not even just your 3-day? Why don't we try to do a 4-day event? I'm not saying go a whole week. That might be too much for someone, or link it with your state or your county fair, and try and bring something like that to where it draws just a little bit more fan base. Because just like, Bobby said, and just like everyone else says, if you can get those people there, they're going to spend money. They're gonna, they have to have hotels unless they're camping, but they're buying food. They're supporting local business. And that's what I think we're not doing as much of as drag racers. We're not promoting, still spending the money in the areas that are giving us an opportunity to race. So I don't know if I'm wrong there. I don't know if that's really a talking point, but that's where my mind goes when I really dive deep into what Texas is doing. Will this be, something that continues to grow from place to place, or is this going to be Texas saying everything is bigger and better in Texas?
Will we see it beyond Texas? Remains to be seen. Do I hope we see it beyond Texas? Definitely. I think you're going to continue to see these type of events from the Texas Motorplex, because right now the highlight is this stampede of speed rolling into the Fall Nationals. But remember, they had Nitro Madness earlier this year, the Funny Car Chaos event, where there were 70 funny cars and jet cars, and they've had Outlaw Pro Mod events. They've had No Prep events. They've had Streetcar Takeover events. There seems like there's something always going on at the Texas Motorplex. And this might be that capstone type of event. Because, Sam, you got to remember, this is more than drag racing. That's what I really like about this event. Sure, Monday, it's like run what you brung, Outlaw Pro Mods, Top Fuel Dragster, put nitro in it, run it down the track, turn into a ball of fire. We hope you get out of it type of night. And Tuesday night is a Pro Mod shootout. And then Wednesday night is like Top Dragster, Top Sportsman shootout. And you've got Wednesday testing, and you've got the Sportsman portion of the show with the national event, rolling into Friday having the 4 normal qualifiers into Sunday eliminations. But beyond the racing, as great as that is, there are business opportunities. There's opportunities within the town of Waxahachie to create business ties and create B2B opportunities. I think we're going to hear possibly teams finding sponsorship from this event going into other events because of what the Texas Motorplex has decided to put around racing. And what the Motorplex is doing is showcasing that racing can be more than just burning fuel and burning rubber. It can be a marketing device. It is a marketing device. I've seen that in the pits of Foley Lewis Racing. You bring people who've never really seen Top Fuel drag racing. They're on the side of the car, first time they've ever used their marketing dollars in that way. They're not sure what they're going to get out of it. They come to the track, they be a part of the hospitality, they go to the line and they experience drag racing, and they want to be a part of it even more afterwards. So I know we'll continue to see this from the Texas Motorplex. What I would love to see is it capture a regional idea and theme, and that the crown jewel events have this type of feeling to them on the NHRA schedule, that the Gator Nationals, you've got a whole week from the baby Gators to the national event filled with not just racing, but these type of opportunities to create B2B, to create new sponsorships, to create a new platform for them, and see it have one out west, have one in the southeast, have one in the northeast, have Indy, make Indy even bigger than what it is. As strange and as ludicrous as that would be, make it even bigger and grandiose, being the U.S. Nationals. We could almost call it the World Nationals, honestly, or the world's drag race. It is the biggest drag race in the world, and all the eyes of drag racing turned it and see what happens. So this is a great move by the Motorplex. I'm looking forward to being there all week. I'm looking forward to experiencing it. And I think we are going to have nothing but positives coming away from this event. What this does show, though, Sam, is who is in charge of promotion. Is it NHRA? Is it the track? Is it a combination? For example, the regional that I attended, it wasn't that well attended. There was hardcore drag racing fans, even hardcore drag racing fans, and shout out to the gentleman that said, hey, Monday Morning Racer, and where's your partner Slammin' Sam, at a regional nonetheless. But even with that small crowd, I looked, you had great drag racing, and I have to ask myself, who was in charge of putting shoe leather to pavement, getting tickets in gas stations, getting tickets at the auto parts stores? Who was responsible for Facebook posts and boosting those posts? Who's responsible for promoting some of these events? And this is what the Texas Motorplex has said. They have said, we don't care if NHRA is in charge. We're in charge of at least getting people here earlier so they're here at the national event and they're enjoying drag racing. More people need to do that.
And that's, I think, what I was going to say, too, is I think Texas is saying, hey, look, we're doing this up until this day. Now, at that point, you're not going to turn around and say, well, I'm not going to stay another 3 days. I'm not going to stay through. I've been there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm not going to leave on Friday to go home, right? And like you said there, who is doing this to get the tickets to X, Y, and Z? Who has put this? But who has ever thought taking a person, and this is thinking outside of the box, taking a person that's coming out of the rodeo world, where everything that they do is a complete party. Now you've taken someone like that out of the rodeo industry who knows how to promote, put on weekend events, put on long-lasting events with their championships and everything they do, bring in fans and enjoyment. Even if you don't like anything country or anything like that, you will go to a rodeo because of the experience. And I think that's what the biggest thing comes down to. It's not just I'm going to the drag race for a weekend. You're going to see match racing. You're going to see, like when are you going to ever see Stevie Fast pull off the trailer and match race a guy, for this much, unless you're at a Donald Long event. But it gives you the mix of all these different events. You can see bull riding. You're going to have great food and music with the bands that they have coming in. You have, Steve Palmer with his nitro cars. You have all these different elements. And I think that's what we need to do is we talk about stick and ball sports. Being a kid from, raised in Southern California, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm going to say it, beat up on my Raiders, so Bobby can have his little moment. But, when the NFL experience comes to town, it's 2 weeks, leading up to the Super Bowl, but there's all this excitement. There's stuff that continues to go on. And like you said, I would love to see one in Vegas. Who knows, at the end of I would say earlier in the beginning of the year than at the end of the year. But with Halloween falling, usually around the time that the end of the year's there, see one in Vegas right before Pomona,
right.
Have a big celebration right before the end of the year. Have one, you said, Gainesville.
I prefer, with the case of Las Vegas, that the NHRA ends its season at Las Vegas and you crown the champions on the SEMA show floor. I think that would and you have the banquet there and you have all those partners there, and it's such a premier facility. And you might say, no, Pomona is the traditional place in the finals. No, it's not. The finals has moved around. What event has not moved around, except for when it was at Daytona, that's a whole other subject, is the Winter Nationals. That's been Pomona's gig. So I think the finals can move around. I think it should end at Las Vegas and do that. But kind of on the back half, you have the national event, and then the back half, you have these big things playing into SEMA show.
And like you said, you have SEMA there. Another thing is, too, I think what's going on right now with the event that West Buck has, and then the Baby Gators, I think Gainesville is already starting. Like, why wouldn't you have a big, going back to, okay, I'm going to say it. At the end of the summer, all the college kids that are in your area that you were friends with, they all have a, hey, going away party, right? Because I'm going back to school. So why not have, and then the first 2 weeks of school, guess who's having a party? All the college kids, because, hey, it's the first week of school. So why not have a first week of drag racing party in Gainesville? You've already got the Baby Gators. You got the Door Slammers. You might as well just keep the ball rolling. And like you said, do it in all four. Do it in all four corners. So we could yak about this, as much as we want to. There's so much stuff to talk about, Lee. I know Wes Buck has got a great show going on tomorrow. Who else is talking drag racing tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow, I'm sure you'll probably see Joe Costello have some live going on with the WFO podcast. And yes, Wes Buck's got a great show lined up. And then rolling into Thursday, My Between the Slicks, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to have Brian Golick on. And I got to reach out to Amanda Busick. I need to see if I can get her on. I want to get her take on Hot Rod Drag Week. She was a part of that, and see her juxtaposition and her thoughts from nitromethane drag racing and NHRA Pro Stock there to drag week, which is completely two different animals within the drag racing world. Sam, it's so beautiful in drag racing, all the flavors we have. Like, when I think of late model asphalt racing, there's not that many flavors. Like, you've got bigger cubic inches, you got crate motors, you got, maybe different body panels, but it's still very much similar. But drag racing, there's an entire range from no prep to nitromethane to alcohol to stock to bracket racing to what drag week does. It is amazing the diversity we have in drag racing.
Lee, circle track racing is like Baskin Robbins, right? You got your 31 flavors, and that's it. You move over to the drag racing world, we're kind of like Cold Stone. You either like it, love it, or gotta have it. And you can mix anything you want in there, but guess what? At the end of it, it's a perfect bowl of ice cream. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I do.
You see what I did there?
I know. I like it.
See what I did there?
I like it.
It's only because I'm probably going to go and.
I do want to answer Stan's question. He says, MMR, speaking of Foley Lewis Racing, is Aaron Brooks done with them? Well, the answer I have is that no, he is not done with them. And that's all I can say on it. But I do want to say, Sam, if all the rumors come true that are out there right now concerning what, in particular, nitromethane drag racing and the NHRA will look like in 2022, the landscape will be anew and look completely different than it has for like the last 20 years if they all come to pass.
Stop spreading those rumors around. No? Okay. I'll stop. I'm feeling good, man. But Lee, another great show. I'm sorry that I left you hanging with the boss man by yourself there on the front end. But you know what? It was good to have him come on, talk a little bit. We have Bob Tasca maybe trying to convert me to be an electric car guy. Who knows? I don't know if it's going to happen, but I still will take him up on that test drive. He dropped some information on us,
yes,
with the the weights of the car and then the new improvement that they have. So that's what it's all about, is always gaining this information, this insight that these racers have. That's what this show is about. I mean, yeah, we yak it up. We have our opinions, at the beginning and the ending of the shows, but we get some great information. BJ dropped some information on us, of exactly like you said, how do they get to this point? What are you grading them on? What is this all about? And to have an event that's running 27 years, I mean, geez, I was 3 years old when this event started. So, I mean, not to age myself, how young I truly am not anymore, but that's what it's all about, is having fun and seeing the traditions continue to go. And that's what thrives and grows motorsports. Lee, what do you want to say before we wrap it up, before you cross the finish line on those back wheels as today was going, or maybe, trying to find a charger for your electric car?
Well, last thing I want to say to all you fans out there, thank you for watching. Keep enjoying drag racing in all of its diversity. But this weekend, PDRA, Galat, that's Benson, North Carolina, just southeast of Raleigh, North Carolina. Get there. And then we've got the Stampede of Speed at the Texas Motorplex. Get there. And if you don't, I'll be there for you. Sam, take it away.
Yes, everybody, go. Don't forget, check out Competition Plus, everything that Competition Plus has going on. Check out Monday Morning Racer. Like them both on social medias, on YouTube especially. Help them grow. Trust me, the content is great and you will love it. I am Slammin' Sam. I do have a Facebook page where I talk about everything Slammin' Sam, Twitter and Facebook. But if you want to check out all my media stuff, it's Outlaw Performance ENT. Outlaw Performance ENT, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Please check that out. Give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe. We will be back next Tuesday. God willing, we will both be back next Tuesday to yak it up drag racing with you, the fans out there, to talk about whatever motorsports stuff we got into and whatever you guys want to talk about. Don't forget to email us at powerhourcp@gmail.com. Again, Slammin' Sam, Monday Morning Racer, the boss man, Bobby Bennett, Mr. Jeff Arend, to Bob Tasca and BJ, Mr. V. You guys all have great weekends this weekend, and go out, support your local drag strip, motorsports events, or whatever it may be. Support those people that support you. Till next week, you guys keep it on the two tires. Wheel stands up, pedal to the metal.